I'm understanding what you're asking. So when I put the videos of today together, you'll see that I entered AMD on the 10er. I was waiting and waiting and waiting for a reversal. And actually, in hindsight, I don't think I entered here, but this was, I mentioned like, oh, that's my ideal entry. I missed it. And I think I chased it a bit. So when I do something like that, I want it to go, but I also like need to give it time to work because it's a reversal. And so here, I didn't get out of this when it came down like this because I was looking at the 30s, if that makes sense. Like I'm not trying to trail it on the 10 because that's not enough time for it to get going, if that makes sense. Yeah, like this 30 had already triggered up. And so when this triggered down, it was sort of like, you gotta let it close. Which doesn't, there's not a ton of structure. Like there's not one rule across the board. I mean, I've said it 1,000 times about AMD specifically, like it's just so strong. So when things like this happen, I'm just sort of like, whatever. I hope that helps. I think I'm understanding what you're asking. Things like SMCI. And also, it depends on how much I paid for the contract. Like, if I got in here on SMCI, I can't remember my entry. It's in my video. I'll put it up tonight. But, like, if I got in here and we come back down, we come back through where my entry is, like here and here. If I'm only down, like, 5-10%, I'm going to hold it, right? Because it's not fully against me. And I can look, the 30 is inside, this 30, if you let it close, right? These things happen. So sometimes it does depend on the price of the contract, how much that really affects me. If I'm down to 10% on an SMCI, I think that's like $12 or something in the small port. So that also plays a part. There's not like a cut and dry answer to your question, but truly, because I'm even thinking with this, like I'm still in NVIDIA. This just doesn't affect me. I guess there's no cut and dry answer to your question. But I actually like when things consolidate like this, because this sort of back and forth to me is consolidation showing that it's not weak enough to go down, right? What this is showing me is that the market is weak today. Look. So we all know what happened with SPY. The market is weak today, right? And so what I'm seeing on NVIDIA is, yeah, it's not a ton of movement up, but also it's not a ton of movement down on a weak day. And so I'm happy to just hold this and wait. No 30 is like closing against me. So I guess the answer to your question is I do like the 30s, regardless of where I enter. Because no 30s closing against me, it's having a hard time getting up there on a weak day across the market. Also, this is a risky trade, so it may not be the best example, but I hope that that makes a little bit of sense. Sorry, 2 seconds. I need to check this. Okay, yeah. That's the end of that video.